Bill's connection with Canada's Aboriginal peoples began in Bible college when he led a weekly ministry on the Alderville First Nations Reserve near Peterborough, Ontario. Though it wasn't evident at first, this relationship with First Nations and Inuit would prove to be a hallmark of the Prankards' ministry in the years to come. After revival broke out in Beachburg in 1972, Bill sought God's direction about future ministry and was directed to Psalm 72, verse 8, which became the Prankards' vision and mandate as they moved into full-time evangelism. Even while Bill and Gwen traveled sea to sea, the Lord began to impress upon them the need to reach the ends of the earth.
So trying to fulfill the vision of reaching Canada, we're traveling from coast to coast. We're on television right across the nation. And it was in Winnipeg, Manitoba, after a service, that I went back to the hotel room. We had seen thousands of people's lives touched that night, and I was pretty impressed. And God said, "You haven't done what I've told you. I told you north." A pilot missionary from Northern Ontario had invited me to go with him. And he took me in this little pontoon plane. We flew to community after community, and I remember standing on the shores of James Bay in Fort Severn, the most northern point in Ontario, and think, "God, I've done it." And God said, "North."
Bill's first trips into Canada's Arctic took him to communities where the simple gospel and supernatural ministry were foreign. Inuit residents were suspicious at first, but seeing miracles firsthand showed them the reality of Jesus' healing power. Time and time again, people were touched and transformed by an encounter with Holy Spirit, which only strengthened the Prankards' resolve to continue going north.
Hi, I'm Bill Prankard, and I want to talk to you about one of the greatest mission fields in the world. It's really right on our doorstep, Arctic Canada. If you've ever taken a look at the map of Canada, you'll notice so many little communities marked throughout the northern part of our country.
Well, I've discovered, being married to Bill as long as I have, that doing everything average is not in the books. Everything is always out of the box.
Beautiful day.
I think it all stems from the fact that that whole call about God having dominion from sea to sea and to the ends of the earth, it was in us. We had to fulfill that. So when it took us to the coldest places on earth and some of the most isolated and most difficult places to get, it came with the package.
Bill and Gwen continued to go to the Arctic communities and over the years have earned the locals' trust and friendship. The Bill Prankard Evangelistic Association and its partners provided funds and resources to build local churches, mentor believers, and encourage Inuit and First Nations leaders to step into their destiny.
When I look at the wonderful leaders in the Canadian North, both First Nations and Inuit, that have risen up as the gospel has come to them, and then they've stepped forward and begun to lead their own people to Christ, my hope is that now they'll mentor others.
In 1993, the Prankards realized that there were nomadic Inuit living in remote areas of Arctic Russia and that reaching them was part of God's mandate for the ends of the earth. In spite of the severe climate, dangerous travel, prohibitive cost, and near inaccessibility of many communities, Bill and Gwen began the daunting task of reaching out to these forgotten people. Year after year, Bill and Gwen returned to Arctic Russia, taking the gospel to unreached people across the tundra, pouring into their local missionary team, and providing food, clothing, and supplies to needy communities throughout the north.
The work that we've done there over the past 25 years, now we're seeing the fruit of that as our Russian teams that are there on the ground are continuing to take the message into unreached villages. They're mentoring the new believers, and house churches are beginning to flourish in many of those communities. They go out onto the tundra where people are still nomadic, and they're seeing whole families come to Christ, and then those families are reaching others. So the work does continue.
When I look at this on paper, our whole missions, it doesn't make any sense. So the question is, why would you spend so much money on so few people? The answer is love. I fell in love. I've met the most beautiful people in the world. When you're in love, you keep going, you keep giving, you keep helping. And the fact that there's still tens of thousands of people around the Arctic Circle that have never heard about Jesus, I can't even think of slowing down. I feel like I'm just beginning.